Gold is the flesh of the gods, the sweat of the sun, the power of kings. Throughout the centuries, this ultimate precious metal took on many meanings, some of them quite different from one another. Nonetheless, gold has always been surrounded by an aura of wonder. Everywhere, it has led to many bold actions, and sometimes brought about consuming passions. You're listening to Voice of Jewels, a podcast from L'École School of Jewelry Arts, supported by Cleef Arpels, unveiling the stories and secrets behind history's most fascinating jewels.
It's dangerous and it's crazy.
And it's what I've got to do.
Gold, streets of it.
They're searching for the long-lost treasure of an ancient civilization.
The history of gold is quite a saga. Some of its chapters have been written by surprising collectors, showcasing masterpieces fashioned by master goldsmiths throughout its history. The fascinating RiverGods pendant is one of those masterpieces. This piece of jewelry was designed by Etruscan goldsmiths during ancient times. It astonished and even changed the life of a legendary collector. In 1863, at the Louvre Museum in Paris, a man is gazing at a gold jewel inside a showcase. He's kind of hunched over. His cheeks are barely visible under his beard. He's not looking so well, but he is smiling. This man is Petro Campana. We often think of life as a linear path that goes up and down and leads us to our ascension, or downfall. But in reality, it keeps morphing and reinventing itself. Petro Campana has been through it all: glory and disgrace, wealth and poverty. He rubbed elbows with princes, lived in palaces, but also suffered humiliation and slept in jail. He is smiling, though, because thanks to this jewel before him, life no longer has any secrets for him.
This piece is perhaps the masterpiece of Etruscan goldsmithing.
Paul Paradis, art historian and lecturer at L'École School of Jewelry Arts.
It's actually the representation of the river god Achilles. Achilles, who has his battle with Hercules for the hand of Deianira. He becomes a snake and Heracles manages to stifle him. He turns into a bull. And of course, Hercules is triumphant. He breaks one of his horns off. But you have to understand, Achilles is a very important god. He's the son of Titan, of Oceanus, of Thetis. He's also the father of all of the mermaids and of the sea goddesses and river goddesses. So this idea of transformation that we see in this little pendant of only 3.6 centimeters, depicting his beard and his mane with tiny little spheres. His face is highly polished, his bull's ears and his missing horn.
Still leaning over the showcase in the Louvre, Petro Campana is thinking of the Greek poet Sophocles, who wrote, "Achelos, coming now as a bull in visible form, now as a serpent shiny and coiled, now ox-faced with human torso, while from his thick-shaded beard wellheads of fountain water sprayed." Achelos is the god of metamorphosis, a primordial shapeshifter, and the Etruscans picked the most appropriate material to depict him: gold. In his own reflection on the glass of the showcase, Campana sees himself 30 years earlier, when he and his jeweler friend Castellani marveled over this exceptional jewel's technical prowess and fantasy that was just recently excavated out of an archaeological site. Castellani told him, "Today we see gold crafted to perfection, being dug out of long-forgotten Etruscan and Greek necropolises. However sophisticated our civilization might be, it could never match it, nor could we explain how it was crafted."
Now, what is this jewelry art of Etruscan goldsmiths? It's spectacular.
Inezita Gay-Eckel, jewelry historian and teacher at l'École, School of Jewelry Arts.
And particularly, we can make a focus on the granulation. The face of this creature, Achilleus, is covered with these excessively teeny tiny granules, regularly created, round, perfectly round. And the hair is imitated with these spirally twisted gold wires ending in the center, each one with a small grain. The head is topped with a diadem and suspended from this braided gold wire clasp. Even the clasp is exquisitely made with little bits of wire and little granulated beads. We have a microcosm here on a piece of jewelry. You have a show-off of all the different techniques, all the different lost techniques of ancient goldsmithing in this one little pendant.
Petro Campana is the one who brought this multifaceted jewel back to life. He reaches for a jewel, but he sighs as the glass stops his hand. The man straightens up and looks around. The spacious Louvre hall is filled with sparkling and finely filigreed gold jewels, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, as well as artifacts made out of clay, bronze, glass, ceramic, and silver. A nostalgic smile appears on Campana's face. Many moons ago, all these treasures used to be his. Orphaned at age 15, he became director of Rome's Palazzo di Monte di Pietà. He pursued his passion for archaeological digs around the Eternal City, including the Etruscan city of Cerveteri. His passion was such that he quickly found himself surrounded by ancient masterpieces, painted vases, statues of deities, or massive cinerary urns like the sarcophagus of the husband and wife. Sometimes he didn't know what to make of broken pieces, so he would assemble them into fantasied objects, like the modest Venus he built from 4 different statues. Now, it looks like she is staring at him in this hall of the Louvre. His private museum became so famous that Pope Pius IX did him the ultimate honor of coming for a visit. The Holy Father even made Campana a Marchese. But Campana's glory wasn't enough to shield him from his tragic destiny.
The Marquis Campana was extremely respected collector at the time. He financed many digs of ancient Etruria, ancient Rome, but he was so inflamed with his passion that he started embezzling funds from the institution for which he worked, the Monte di Pietà, and he was actually arrested. It was a very public arrest. It was humiliating. This shooting star, this star of the time, great collector, who was arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison. He was luckily, Pope Pius IX actually showed clemency, and his sentence was actually converted into perpetual exile, with the one condition that he transfer his entire estate to the papal state. This is a very important moment in history because the collection will be put up for sale, and a lot of royals of the time were dying to buy objects. The Queen Victoria, Russian Tsar Alexander II, and of course France's Emperor Napoleon III.
Petro Campana is caught up in his thoughts as he paces up and down the halls of the Louvre. He misses Rome. Unfortunately, it isn't the river Tiber that flows past his windows, but the Seine. It was Napoleon III who in the end acquired the bulk of his collection when it was auctioned off after Campana's downfall. The collection, which was designed to act as a testament to Italy's greatness, wound up as an instrument dedicated to that of France. And Campana's treasure wasn't going anywhere. Napoleon III was a lover of ancient history and archaeology. As he inaugurated this one-of-a-kind collection, he declared, "Artists will be delighted to find this amazing abundance of new designs when they thought all was lost. They will be spellbound by the grace, the ease, and the simplicity with which these have been executed. They will feel this sense of freedom being conveyed to them. They will feel infused by a force and feel all the more refreshed and renewed. Looking away from the Seine's rough waters, Campana takes one last glance at the showcase in which the Achelous pendant sits. After all, no destiny, whether of man or jewel, is immutable. We might think of them as doomed and hell-bound, but they somehow always make it back to the light.
The thing about the Etruscan jewelry in the Louvre's collection is it has this power to inspire. And every single time I go, I literally thank Napoleon III for having bought the jewels and thank basically Campana for having lost his fortune so that it could be bought. But these goldsmithing techniques continue today to inspire some of the great masterpieces that can be made and are made by living jewelers. For example, there's a lifetime of dedication that was all started with an Etruscan piece, a bowl that Daniel Brush, the great American goldsmith artist, saw as a child in the Victoria and Albert Museum with his mother. Jewelers could do well, young jewelers, aspiring jewelers could do well to go into the Louvre and marvel in front of these Campana collection pieces, like the great mask, this little tiny but great mask of Achilleus.
Voice of Jewels, a podcast from L'École School of Jewelry Arts, supported by Cleef Arpels. With Inezita Gay-Eckel, jewelry historian and lecturer at L'École School of Jewelry Arts, and Paul Paradis, art historian and lecturer at L'École School of Jewelry Arts. Written by Martin Quenehen and Aram Kebabdjian. Performed by Edoardo Ballerini and produced by Bababam.